Hey, Dakin, can I get a oh yeah?
Oh yeah! What's up, y'all? I'm Dakin, this is my bro Stacy, and this is the Steakin Claims podcast.
A show where we talk about, laugh at, and educate each other on the weirdest things we know and do. We got guests, we got game, and we got good vibes.
Hey Jordan, what are we talking about today?
Today we are stealing cars, but obeying the speed limit. Because today's episode is all about driving like you stole it, but obeying the speed limit.
Wow, right.
And other fun driving anecdotes.
I feel like we should start out with a fun little segment called What Cranks Your Gears?
Well, what grinds my gears?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to try that again?
I feel like we should start out with a fun little segment called What Grinds Your Gears?
Well, what grinds my gears is the same thing that chases my cows. Bad drivers.
How do bad drivers chase your cows?
Well, when your cows get out on the road from the field because the fence breaks or whatever, like some pranky ass kids cut your fence wires to go dirt biking in your fields, and your cows go onto the road, and then the bad drivers freak out and they don't know how to get your cows back in.
I just picture a bad driver going like, oh my god, a cow! I must chase this now in my car.
Oh my god, a cow! That was so bad. Cut that out. Or leave it in. I don't really care. Yeah, no, the things that grind my gears. Number one is definitely people who, like, can't pick a speed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care if you want to go the speed limit, but, like, be consistent.
Yeah.
Be consistent. Be consistent.
The worst is when, like, I get when, like, people slow down up a hill and then, like, a little bit.
Yeah.
And then speed up down the hill. But the worst is when they fucking speed up the hill and then somehow slow down going down the hill and hit their brakes on the hill.
Oh, yeah, no, you just coast down those things, man.
Yeah. It's like, I've never heard of someone getting pulled over at the bottom of a hill for coasting down the hill and not hitting their goddamn brakes.
Yeah, like, unless you're already going, like, excessively fast.
Yeah.
Like, then I get it. Or, like, you know, the hill drops into, like, a really sharp curve, so you have to slow down anyway. Or, like, the hill at, like, Winchester, where it turns into, like, the concession there.
Yeah.
And you come down the hill, and it drops right into a 50.
Yeah.
That I get. But, like, when you're, like, just driving, and you, like, the worst is also when people slow down before they go up the hill. It's like, you have to slow down. And, like, if anybody's ever driven in my car with me, you know that my car does not like hills.
Yeah, it screams at you.
And so, I hate when people do that. And I'm like, guys, like, no, that's not how it works.
You know what really grinds my gears?
That's what I was just gonna ask. What grinds your gears, Andrew?
Is when... What was I gonna say?
I don't know, Andrew. This is your story. This is reading currently. Like, we're doing a very scripted episode, and I just want everyone to know that none of our episodes are ever scripted. But let's get back to today's topic, as we just tangentially disappeared. What grinds your gears, Andrew?
You know what really grinds my gears?
No, because I just asked you.
It's when assholes, like... Sorry, I was turning. Was when assholes pull out in front of you when you're already doing like $1.05 and...
That's a big blue light truck.
It is a big blue truck.
Looks like a snowplow with a trailer on the end of it.
It very well could be. Sorry, distraction. Squirrel. is when assholes pull out in front of you and you're already doing a $1.05 and they decide that they can just take their sweet ass time getting up to speed, and you're coming up to them about
It
80
is a snowplow
kilometers.
with the trailer on the end.
Fascinating.
Anyway, you're coming up to them.
I'm coming in them, and
You're coming in them. Jesus.
and you're coming up on them at like 80 kilometers an hour, and they still decide that they can take their sweet ass time getting up to speed, and you're riding their absolute ass, and it takes them like 5 minutes to get up to 80 kilometers an hour. It's like, and the worst is when there's nobody behind you, so it's like, you couldn't have waited that extra fucking like 10 seconds to let me pass and then pull out behind me. No, you have to be the first one out so you can be a dick and be slow in front of me, just so I can pass you about 100 meters down the road.
Absolutely.
I must say, I'm a very aggressive driver when it comes right down to things.
Yes, you are.
But, like, seriously, just wait if someone's coming and there's only one person.
Yeah.
I get it if there's, like, 10 people behind me, because then obviously that might mean I'm a slow driver. But if no one's behind me, just fucking wait.
Dude, I absolutely agree with you on that one. And like, even if you're not doing a $1.05, if you're just going, if you're cruising at your speed,
Yeah.
and somebody cuts you off by pulling out, pull a kid trunk. It's so irritating.
Joking. Coffee.
And this will be the last episode because Andrew choked and killed us both.
Oh, okay. Anyways, what were you saying?
Oh no, I finished my story.
Oh, I missed it. So,
Oh, I was just talking about how it doesn't matter what speed I'm going, don't cut me off.
Oh, yeah.
I also hate when you're like stopped somewhere waiting for somebody to like go by, like you're trying to make a right or a left or whatever,
Yeah.
and buddy who is coming like not the opposite way but like perpendicular to you
Yeah.
doesn't signal until he's at the corner.
Yes.
And you're like, I could have gone 1,000,000 times, but you didn't tell me you were turning.
Yeah. Because you're waiting there, you're like, okay, why is this fucker going so slow? But he's at that weird point where he's like too close if he was going straight for you to just gun it out and go.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. I lost my thought there.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a gear grinder. A gear grog.
And then he's the coffee in my lungs just came back up.
Well, put it down your esophagus this time.
Yeah, and then he doesn't fucking signal till he's right at the driveway, and you're like, oh, fucking thanks.
Yeah.
You know what I find too? And you know what? I have some sympathy for some of these guys, because you ever have that connection with the driver in front of you where like sometimes where
like a spiritual connection where you both almost die together? Yeah.
No, like a spiritual connection where you just feel connected, and you're like, okay, like buddy in front of you is going like a speed limit you like, and like you just feel content behind him, and you feel like you know what each other are doing, and then he ends up like putting on his brakes to go into a turn, but since you're like already connected, you feel him slowing down, and you're like, okay, you're gonna turn, and he doesn't bother putting his signal light on, and he makes the turn, and you're content, you know, you feel like you knew he was gonna do that. I don't have a problem. You know what I have a fucking problem with is people going like 70 kilometers an hour on a goddamn straightaway, and then slamming on their fucking brakes when you're thinking about going around them, so you're already like going 10 kilometers faster than them, and then randomly turning into a driveway without their signal. Fuck you. At least make sure we have that spiritual connection before you turn without signaling, you goddamn asshole.
Are you okay? Because that was a big rant. And I just want to circle back to like the first part of your rant, because that's called patience, honey. And like, compassion, courtesy, pick your C word adjective.
Yeah, but it's one thing to be like a normally patient driver and have that happen. But when you're like a fast, aggressive driver like me, and that happens, it means you've met another fast, aggressive driver like you. And you just like that, it's like that connection just clicks, you know?
I wish we had a guest for this episode to see what their thoughts were on this.
I feel like other people know what I'm talking about. Like,
I mean, you're probably not wrong. It's just like, okay. You just seem very impassioned about this topic, and I'm not sure if you, like, need to be so excessively, like, okay, like, strong holding on this. Like, is this a hill you're gonna die on?
I hope not, because you're in the car. Wait.
It was a metaphor.
Why are we talking about a hill? Oh, look at that guy you just passed. Speaking about aggressive fast drivers, I could probably connect with that guy.
Oh my god, this episode is literally a train wreck. We should do an episode on trains. We should just explain the train story and then do an episode about it.
That's gonna require some research. That's all you.
Yeah, no, well, that's why I do the pre-production part. Anyway, back to the whole train discussion. No, hill discussion. We were talking about hills. Like, have you never heard that metaphor before?
No.
Oh my gosh.
What metaphor? Say the metaphor.
It's like, you know, this is a hill I'm going to die on. Have you never heard that before?
No.
Okay, so extra context. So, like, you know, you got, like, a topic or, like, an opinion, and you're just, like, so entrenched with it that, like, no matter what, nobody's gonna change your mind.
Oh, it's like King of the Hill, where you're just like, I'm not leaving the king, so you just knock every motherfucker out who tries to knock you out.
Kind of. Like, you're the only one there. It's like your hill.
Yeah.
And, like,
but people are trying to knock you off by giving
not even. They're just like, they acknowledge how you feel, but then provide some separate insight, and you're just like, nope, that's wrong. It's like, I don't even have a good analogy that's like...
To be fair, I never said you were wrong.
I never said
Wait,
you...
what did you say?
What? Okay. I feel like we just need to cut the past, like, 5 minutes of content out, because it doesn't make any sense. Okay. Let's move on.
What else grinds your gears, Jordan?
Honestly, not a whole lot else really grinds my gears. It's mostly, like, the inconsistent speeds of people that are unwarranted, being cut off, and people who don't use their turn signals properly.
Yeah.
And, like, other than that, I feel like I'm, like, super chill.
You're one of them there, patient drivers.
I am. I'm just kind of like, yeah, yo, you want to go, like, the speed limit? That's cool, we can vibe. I might pass you eventually if I'm in a rush, but, like, for the most part, I'm just going to follow you.
Yeah. That's fair.
I don't know. I just, like, I don't see the point in being go, go, go and, like, driving that much faster. Because it's not realistically, wait, what? It's not like you're really going to get to where you need to go any faster.
No,
you might
that's
be, like,
true.
2 minutes. And, like, you know, at some points you have to slow down to stop earlier. You have to, like, be more aware and, like, be ready to slam on your brakes sooner.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whereas I get to just, like, coast. It's kind of how I go through life. I coast.
I get that. And
Except
honestly,
that's not how I go through life.
There are days where, like, I like you, I just coast along. I follow whoever's in front of me. Usually I'm daydreaming, so I black out and I don't remember the last 5 minutes of my drive. And then I'm like, how the fuck did I get here?
Me.
How did I not crash in the last 15 minutes of me driving?
Have you ever, like, actually done that, though, where you've been, like, driving somewhere and you know where you were supposed to go, and then you wind up someplace completely different, and you're like, I don't even know how I ended up here, but I guess I'm here now?
100%. The one day, okay, so this tells how much I fucking end up staying at your place and go over to your place, is because the one day I left for work, and I'm driving down 57, and then I realized, oh fuck, this is 35. I went the wrong way down Highway 57. I was 20 minutes late for work because I had to come 20 minutes back up 57, and then up to 7A and up the proper 57 to my work.
What now?
But yeah, like I blackout. Like I end up daydreaming, and I'm just so used to where
I feel like blackout is very inaccurate.
Yeah, no, not blackout.
You
but
zone out.
I zone out so hard that like my body just takes over where I'm going, and sometimes it's not always the right destination.
Accurate. I also find because I drive like to the same places a lot, shocking. It's like I have a job or something and visit the same people regularly. That like sometimes I will be like going somewhere and like a lot of the times when I go to your house, actually I almost turned down my old road. And I'm like, wait, no, I don't live here anymore. Keep going. Andrew Street is like 4 up.
See, the other thing that it doesn't really grind my gears, but like since like I don't know why, but I'm very competitive when it comes to driving.
Really?
So if I'm driving down the highway and like I'm usually going like a $1.20, $1.30, $1.25, $1.30, and in 100.
Well, don't admit that you're speeding on the podcast.
In a 110. And if someone tries to pass me, I will purposely speed however much it takes for them not to pass me.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like I see them coming up behind me and I'm like, no, you shall not pass. And I just fucking gun it. I don't know. It's just like, it's like a fucking Steakin inside of me. A little Steakin awakens, and I'm just like, I must win.
Okay. Hold on. I take offense to that claim. As Steakin, I take offense to that claim. Because we don't, well, okay. We do generally want to win. But like 98% of the time, you have to tell us that we're not going to win first before that piece of us wakes up. Okay? You have to make it a competition. It can't just be there.
I don't know why. I just fucking can't do it.
I can't do it.
I can't let
it's
people
too
pass
hard.
me. You know what? Actually, you know what really does grind my gears though? Is when.
Yankee line.
Do we go straight?
I don't know.
What's straight?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
It looks like a sketchy road.
Oh, it does.
Cool.
I don't actually know where we are. I'm just driving tonight.
That's fine. Oh, just kidding. I thought it was a hole.
We'll maps our way back.
Or we just turn around and go down the road that we fucking just came down. Option number 2. This road leads somewhere. Eventually, we're going to wind up somewhere that we know.
Yeah, right. I believe we're going north still.
That sounds accurate.
Yes, we are. Oh, I just realized I have a compass on my car. We're fine.
Whoa, shook. Look at you go. Oh, hot.
Thank you. Yes, you know what actually does? I remember another thing that grinds my gears.
But you just have a lot. You have a lot.
Is when... What was it?
I don't know. Oh, we're at Mallard Bay Road. I have no idea what the fuck that is, but...
We'll go this way.
I mean, we haven't gone... Oh, we're in Mallard Bay!
Oh, that's a no exit. Oh, yes. Okay, you know what really does grind my gears, though?
What grinds your gears?
I just thought of something else.
Jesus.
Is when...
I feel like we're gonna have to, like, when we're doing the editing on this, we're gonna have to pick your top 3.
Oh, we gotta fill the episode somehow.
We're already at 21 minutes and we've only been talking about what grinds our gears.
Yeah, but we have, like, at least 10 minutes of non-usable content.
Okay, you're not wrong, but still.
Okay. One last thing that really does grind my gears. I'm choking again. Okay. You know what else grinds my gears? I just thought of something else. When you're actually, like, going a decent speed, like cruising along, like not even like speeding, like a good 95.
Okay, you're cruising.
Yeah, cruising along.
Oh, that's a pretty port. Sorry. It went like boom, and then went in with the building, and then like boom, across.
I like the sound effects.
Thank you. I don't know how to describe them for the podcast listeners, so picture that, but as a port.
Okay, so picture this. You're cruising along.
Okay, we're cruising. Brap, brap.
95.
Brap, brap.
In an 80.
Brap, brap.
So decent speed.
Brap, brap.
And, like, you end up getting this asshole behind you who just wants to ride your ass. And it's like, so you slow down a little bit so he can pass. And you slow down in a nice passable spot. He has lots of room to pass. And he doesn't fucking pass you. He just stays behind you. That really pisses me off at night, too, when it's like a truck with those newfangled fucking LEDs.
Frickin' LED lights.
And they're just burning your fucking eyeballs out.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And for whatever reason, he just decides not to pass you. It's like he thinks you have that connection with him, but you're like, no, I don't have this fucking connection with you. So please just pass me. Let's move on. Let's go our separate ways. Find another person to fucking blind and try to have your connection with.
I have definitely, like, pulled over when things like that have happened, because I'm like, I just don't want to deal with you, and I don't see a point in getting mad. Yeah. So I'm going to pull over to allow you to pass me, and then I will carry on with my life.
You know what's kind of wild to me, though?
What?
Is when you're actually, like, speeding, and someone comes up behind you, starts riding your ass, and then actually does pass you. It's like, when that happens, it's like, okay, I must not be actually that bad. This guy fucking wants to pass me going, like, I'm not going, but he goes past me at like $1.30 and continues on going $1.30.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, where do you have to, you better have your pregnant fucking wife in that car.
Your pregnant in labor fucking wife.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Yeah, no, I'm like, I also don't like when people like will come right up on your ass and then like you're like, okay, like, bro, can you get off my ass? Because like, if I have to slam on my brakes and you rear end me, I know it's your fault, but like, I don't want to have to deal with that. That's just an added stress to my day that I don't need.
Yeah.
And so that's why I find that I pull over a lot, because I'm like, you know, then I don't have to deal with it. They can go around me. I will like fake a phone call or something, and then they can just carry on with their lives, and I'm content without my ass being ridden. And I see no downfall to that for me.
No. See, I like driving your car. Because
we love my car.
Yeah. Because you make me a better driver.
Oh.
Because you don't let me speed.
It's true.
You don't let me pass people.
Well, okay. I feel like you have to like circumstantialize that one. Because if there's somebody going 60 in the 80 for no apparent reason, you can for sure pass them.
Well, yes, and I have.
But I feel like I just make you more patient.
Yeah.
And so when somebody's doing the 95 in the 80, we don't pass them because, you know, I like my car and we don't need to be mean to him. She's beautiful.
It's like, you can go that 5 kilometers an hour faster.
You can, but like, why? Because, you know, you go 5 kilometers faster, but then you have to stop that much sooner at the stop signs.
I know, yeah.
So you really aren't adding, like, you're maybe adding like 35 seconds. You're taking away 35 seconds to your trip if you pass them.
And see, you know what's funny is, like, I really want to end up living in a place where it's like a slower pace of life. and shit like that. But I just feel like I let, like, around here where it's a faster pace of life, everybody's go, go, go. I feel like I let everybody else get to me. And then, so therefore, I end up absorbing that energy, and I feel like I need to go, go, go.
I feel like I feel like that's a very accurate statement for you. And I find I tend to do, like, a little bit of the different. Because I find the more stress that everybody else gets, the more relaxed almost I become.
Right.
And then people get mad at me because they're like, you're so chill. And I'm like, yeah. Because, you know, if we power walk to the stop sign, we get there and then we have to wait for the car anyway. So why not chill? And then the car will be gone and then we can just cross.
Yeah. And see, like, yeah, I feel like I'm more go, 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 and, like, I have a destination to be. Like, on our drives and shit, I'm pretty sure I barely hit 100 kilometers an hour on this drive. But it's just because I'm just chill. I'm like, okay, we're just driving.
Just cruising.
Just cruising around. Got no real
wherever the hell we are.
I have no idea where we are.
It's fun. You know, it is what it is. We're living our best lives. Apparently there's a stop sign coming up, but they warned us really early.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. It's like on the other side of the road.
Oh, the road turns. Now I understand.
I gotta fart.
Oh God, not again.
Oh, what road is this?
Tara Road, and we were on Edenberry Lane? Question mark. I don't know. I feel like.
Do we go right?
Yeah, why not? Might as well get more lost.
Really, that smells.
Oh, Christ. Hold on. We'll take a slight break to let the fart smell decimate. Oh my God! Christ! You're rank, dude.
Hey, this is the first night in a long time they've smelled.
I don't care. I'm the one who has to smell them.
It's good for you.
No!
Look it up. It's actually good to smell other people's farts, apparently. There's some sort of chemical that, like...
Chemical?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Does it, like, improve your gag reflex or something?
I don't know. It does something, though. I read about it one time.
Of course you did. Let's move on to, like, when we were new drivers and, like, the lovely little tips that they need at the driving instructors.
Sorry.
I swear to God.
That one was a doozy. I was silent and all deadly.
You know what's bad? When you put your own window down immediately.
I farted and instantly came up my shirt into my nose. I'm like, whoa.
Are we two teenage boys doing this podcast?
Yes.
At some points, yes. So yeah, let's talk new drivers. Just new drivers. That's the only contact. What is your favorite thing about, like, when you know that there's a new driver, you're driving with somebody who's new to driving, that they do? That you are just like, oh, it'll be like X amount of time before that habit goes out the window?
Come to a full stop at stop signs.
Yes.
I am not sure that I've made a full stop at a stop sign since I've gotten my driver's license.
Wow.
I have, when there's a cop there. But or when you see one of those cars that looks like a cop car.
Mood. Also, people who drive a Ford Explorer, shame on you.
Yeah, fuck you. Make me slam on my brakes for nothing. Yeah, that would be the main thing that new drivers do that I'm like, oh, actually, you know what, as well? I'm just going to steal this thunder here, is driving with both hands on the wheel.
Mood.
That's one thing that I'm like, as soon as you get your driver's license, that is going out the window. I couldn't name one person who still drives with two hands regularly.
Yeah, that's so fair. I would also like to, like, hop on your stop sign thing, and when they stop, like, at the white line,
yeah,
and then they, like, move up to the stop sign,
yeah,
and then they move up to, like, the actual corner.
Yeah, because if I ever stop now. Like, okay, so that was a bit of a lie. Like, I do come to a full stop when it's like a two-way stop sign and you're turning out onto a busy road. But never do I come to a stop at the white line. I come to a stop where I'm not gonna get hit, and then go when I can.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's none of that like perfectionist like stop, inch up, inch up, inch up. I also love the way they teach you to reverse park and have to go like 3 spots forward and then like signal and then like crank your car at 90 to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that too, because then everybody else is just like cheats it backwards, so they're pretty much going straight in. It's like my favorite shit. Like,
you know what else?
oh yeah, go for it.
When new drivers signal, one, in a parking lot in general,
Mood.
and two, backing or pulling out of a parking spot.
Yeah.
It's like, you are never gonna do that again.
No, we were literally
Ever.
just here.
What?
Yeah, no, that was like Frank Hill Road and like the road that we drove up originally. We were just there.
Really?
Yeah.
We're going west. I thought we were going east.
No, we're going. Well, I didn't know which way we were going, but I knew. Well, now I know that we were going back the same way we came. Wow, that was a mouthful. Let's just cut that out of the episode. Yeah, no, the signaling that new drivers do, absolutely hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it just gives me joy.
Especially, like, pulling out of a parking lot
Yeah.
and, like where there's obviously, you're only going left or right.
Yeah.
And there's 2 lanes to decipher whether you're going left or right. But you still put your signal on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Although, I've had some pretty dumb moments myself where, like...
Driving the wrong way in Manitoba.
Well, yes, that did happen. I'll tell that story in a minute. But, when... You know when, you're driving down a road, and...
What? We're driving down... Wow. Sorry, carry on. Had to be a bit of an asshole there.
And it comes to, like, that... It's not, like, quite, like, a dead-end road.
Yeah.
But, like, you come to that sign where it's, like, you can only go left or you can only go right.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's only one, like, I'm talking about the one ways, not where you can turn either left or right.
Yeah,
Let's say,
no,
for
I get
example, like, you can only turn left.
Yeah.
And it's still the same road, but it's just such a sharp corner that they put that sign there.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've, like, signaled to go left. Meanwhile, it's like, no shit, you're going left. You can only go left. It's the same fucking road.
Dude. That's a good one. Yeah, no, I just, like, I love new drivers because, like, my whole thought process with them is like, aw, you haven't been corrupted yet.
Yeah.
You're still new. I predict, like, 2 years, and then you just have all the bad habits.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, but, like, I'm pretty sure, like, nothing of the good habits stuck with me. Like, as soon as I got my driver's license, I was, like, one hand on the wheel, all gangster, like, I was speeding, I was not stopping at stop signs, like...
Jesus, man.
I was bad, but...
Well, I mean, you are bad.
I mean, I also did drive my first car into a swamp, so there's that. I was going down this old dirt road, old back road, dirt road, with Jayden in the car, our friend Jayden.
JBB.
And I was going fast, and the corner that I wanted was coming up. And so I decided to not really slow down a lot. I'm like, hey, fuck, I'll try to drift this front wheel piece of shit. And it didn't go so well. I realized I was pretty much heading straight into the swamp. So what I decided to do was slam on my brakes, which inevitably caused me to lose all steering. Inevitably, I slid right into the fucking swamp and had my car up to the fucking window on Jaden's side, on the passenger side. And I'm probably about halfway up the door on my side. And Jaden and I just, like, looked at each other. We're like, fuck. I'm like, that's not what I meant to happen. Jaden's like, no shit. And I'm like, Jaden, don't get out your side. He's like, I wasn't gonna. I can see the fucking fish swimming outside my window. I'm like, just crawl out my side. He's like, yeah, make sure you crawl out your window. I'm like, what? As I'm opening the door, because I didn't realize it was halfway up my door, the water. So I open up my door, and water just fucking floods right in. And we're like, basically up to our crotches in water. And I'm like, well, the door's already open, so might as well get out now. So Jaden and I both crawl out my side. I ended up calling my dad. He came in his truck to pull my car out of the water. As my dad was pulling the car out of the water, a fucking cop came by. Thank God the cop wasn't there any sooner before my dad got there, because he would have fucking charged me with something for sure. My dad, he talked to my dad, he was like, everything alright here? My dad's like, yeah, no worries, I'll kick his ass when I get home. Cop's like, fair enough. Drove off. my dad wouldn't actually, but he was getting the cop away. So that worked out in my favor. And then we let it drain for a good half hour, tried to get all the water out of it. And then I started it up. It ended up starting up. Drove it to the corner of the road that I tried to drift over, and it just died on me. So my dad ended up towing me to a parking lot, and then I got a tow truck back to the school. Tried to fix it at the school in the auto shop for like 2 months. Didn't work. It still died. Tried to replace a bunch of shit. Still died on me. So I ended up getting a new car.
I love how you just drove into a swamp. I think that's like a perfect segue to go into our next segment. Can you explain?
We're gonna tell some of our own driving stories now. Some of them similar to that, some of them just driving stories in general.
Oh god, okay. Okay. I'm good.
Are you?
I did my thing! You can't interrupt me when I'm doing my thing.
Well, you were finished your thing.
Pop, bang, fizzle. Now I'm good. See, now you can ask me and I'm good.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, see?
You fall fizzle out there.
Yeah. Stay on our side of the road, bro. Okay. I think we're gonna start out with the Minden story, because that was great. So this one was actually really recent.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, we decided to go for a drive, as we do, because when you live in small town Ontario, there's literally nothing to do.
Yes.
And so you just go for drives sometimes. And so we're driving, and like, we kind of like decided to go up to this campground that like we had stayed at last summer, and we were like, hey, I bet like we can get up there pretty easily, and we wanted to check out some like the side roads and see how close we could get to it. So we're driving up, whatever, we end up on like the highway that goes by it, and we drive past it, we're like, cool, and then we get to like the 35, and we're like, alright, left or right, and my buddy goes left, and I'm like, cool. Not even thinking that we were like at like the farthest like point kind of that you could catch it, like catch 35 and not have to pull a UE unless you wanted to drive for like 4 hours to like loop back around. And so I'm like, cool. And so we turn left, and then we're driving, and then all of a sudden, like, well, not really all of a sudden, it was like 4 hours later, we see signs for Minden, and we're like, huh? And then we both were like, oh yeah, I guess like we did turn north, like at the last possible chance we could have like looped.
Yeah.
So then we take this like sketchy dirt road. I'm pretty sure it was dirt, like,
Yeah.
because it was definitively like dirt, snow-covered cottage road.
Bob Cajun Road.
Yeah.
Also, I realized we weren't going west when we were on that road. I was looking at a map, and it was because the map was turned. It looked like we were going west, but we were actually going more north on that road. It probably would have been faster to keep taking 35 all the way to the 118.
I love that. It definitely would have been faster to pull a Yui, but we don't do that. It's like illegal unless you hit a dead end on our drives. So, yeah. So we like turned down this sketchy dirt road. Didn't die, obviously, because we're here recording this episode and telling the story. But we drive across and we wind up in like Bracebridge. And we're not, like, we're trying to get back to like Lindsay area. So we are very much out of the woods. So instead of like just taking like the fastest route home, no, that's not us. We like hop on the 11 eventually and then like drive down 12 and like pretty much go like the longest possible walks that you could like take to get back to like Lindsay area.
We also stopped at about 4 different Timmy's in Aurelia trying to get fucking coffee and find a spot to piss.
Yeah, because neither of us wanted to squat, and we were banking on like the Timmy's being open because like the Timmy's in Port is open, except for from 12 to 5, and so we were like sick. Like it's like 11 o'clock. There'll be one that's open, and Aurelia, I swear, is like the Timmy's capital of Ontario because there's at least 7 that I can like name off the top of my head, and all of them were closed.
Yeah.
Like literally all of them, the dining rooms were closed, and we were like, guys, we just want to pee. So we didn't end up peeing. We just kind of like drove home.
We stopped somewhere for food though, didn't we? Was it Beaverton? We ended up getting Timmy's.
Did we stop in Beaverton? Or did we just
I think so, because I was getting hangry.
Oh, we did stop in Beaverton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So needless to say, at the end of that day, we had left at 6 p.m. and didn't get home until after midnight. Which was definitively an accident on our part.
That was a good 6-hour run.
Yeah.
Technically 7, because we went
For a little drive with Jenna,
a little
too.
drive before.
Yeah. That was a good one. Tonight we're actually on a drive. And neither of us has any idea where we are. Is this like... Oh, this is like Big Highway 7. We're on the Trans-Canada.
Oh, are we back on...
We're on like
7?
Big Highway 7. Like the...
But is this 7 Fowler's Corner side, or is this 7 Ottawa side?
I have no idea.
We're going west, so I'm assuming it's Fowler's Corners. We made a big loop.
Yeah. We'll figure it out eventually. I mean, at least being on 7, we know once we figure out which direction we're going, we know how to get home.
We're going west.
Okay, well then we... Just depends on how west we are. Or how east we are. I guess would be.
Actually, we might be on the 7 that goes to Lindsay.
Yeah, like... That's, like, it just depends on where exactly we are on 7. That will determine how we need to get home.
Yeah. But you know how there's that 7 that goes, like, north and south, too?
Yeah.
And then, after, like, on the west side of Peterborough, or east side of Peterborough, there's the 7 that goes to Ottawa. There's, like, 3 different 7s, and they all separate.
I think they're all the same.
They're all the same, but they have, like, they don't
just
continue.
Run. Yeah. They run really weird, because they merge with, like, major roads.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense, because... Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, I feel like I'll tell the Manitoba story.
Okay, yeah, tell a Manitoba story, and then I think we can, like, close out the episode, because we've got almost an hour of content.
Do we really?
Yeah, we're at 53 minutes.
Hot damn. Alright, so, let me compose myself.
Oh, we are definitely on the Lindsay side.
Oh, perfect.
Because that's River Road, and that one connects to wherever the fuck we go. I vaguely know where we are. Anyway, Manitoba story.
Yeah, so last year, actually almost a year to date.
Yeah. Pre-COVID. Barely.
Actually, barely, yeah. Everything was shutting down as I was on my way to Edmonton. So, I drove to Thunder Bay in one day, stayed at my aunt and uncle's, and then I was going to drive to Saskatoon the next day, which is about the same length of a drive, but I ended up getting stuck in a snowstorm in Thunder Bay, and I had to pull off into a truck stop because the old tires that I had on my car were like summer tires, but they had no tread whatsoever. They, like, when I took them off to change them, it basically looked like a go-kart tire, like fucking slicks. And so I ended up waiting 6 hours for the snowstorm to pass in my car. I'm pretty sure I almost read a whole fucking book. And finally I was able to drive again. The snowplows were out. So I made it to Winnipeg. And I got a hotel in Winnipeg for the night. And I woke up 5 o'clock the next morning to hammer my way the rest of the way to Edmonton. And had this shitty little hotel coffee that they provide for you, which I swear to God, it might as well just be decaf because it did fuck all for me. Went out to my car. It was negative 22 out that morning, which in Winnipeg, it actually wasn't that bad. Like, I started my car and it warmed up for like 5 minutes and I was warm again. Like, it doesn't have the same moisture as the armpit of the earth here in fucking southern Ontario.
Yeah.
So I pull out onto, I believe it's Trans-Canada 1, but like the circle highway that goes around Winnipeg is called Trans-Canada 100. It's like a bypass.
Okay.
So I pull out onto Trans-Canada 1, and I'm driving along. This car passes me on the left, like going the opposite way. And I realized it was RCMP as he passed me. And then, so I'm looking in my mirror, and he slammed on his brakes and turned around. I'm like, fuck, is he coming for me? Like, what did I do? And so I continue driving on, and he pulls in behind me and flicks his lights on. I'm like, fuck me, I'm not even speeding. Like, am I that tired? Like, I'm swerving? Like, what the fuck? Or is he just randomly pulling me over, telling me to go home because it's COVID? So I pull over, and then as I'm pulling over, I realize that on my right is a median, and I look to the right of the median, and there's another 2 lanes. I pulled out onto the 2 lanes of the wrong side of traffic. I was going down the wrong side of the fucking highway. So I went past the median because eventually it ended, and I pulled onto the right side of the road and off onto the right side. And the RCMP guy just pulls up beside me, and it's COVID, so he doesn't get out of his car or anything. He just rolls down his window. They're both like a young gal and a young guy. And he's just like, "Hey, sir, morning to you. Do you know why I pulled you over?" I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of realized when I went to pull over and there's a median there that I was on the wrong side of the road." He's like, "You're not from around here, are you, bud?" I'm like, No, I'm not. How could you tell?" And he's like, "So where are you going?" I'm like, "Well, I'm going to my sister's in Edmonton, like, just driving right through." And he's like, "Oh, you've been driving all night?" I'm like, No, I'm not that serious. I just woke up. I'm just tired. I'm just leaving the hotel." He's like, "Oh, okay." Meanwhile, the young gal is just fucking pissing herself in the passenger seat. And he's like,
kind of like I am right now.
He's like, "Oh, okay, well, make sure you drive safe. Stay on the right side of the road." And he's like, "Have a nice day." Didn't ask me for my license or registration or anything. Just let me continue on. I'm like, whew, that was a little heart-wrenching.
Yeah, see, if that was like me, I would have like been arrested, charged with like reckless, all that, because I just have like the worst luck in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably wouldn't have driven on the wrong side of the highway anyway, but... Oh, God.
Yeah, that was a time.
Classic stuff right there.
Do you have any more stories?
I thought of one when you were, like, telling the Manitoba one, and it's totally gone. Oh, do you remember that time that we were going to PDOT, and Jay was driving? I think it might have been for Jenny's birthday.
I know exactly which story you're telling.
And so, we're all, like, going, and we come to, like, a 4-way stop, and Jay stops. And we're like, cool. And he's sitting there. And he's sitting there. And he's still sitting there. And we're like, are you gonna go? And he's like, yeah, I'm waiting for the light to turn green. And we're like, it's a stop sign, bro.
Oh, fuck.
And he's like, oh, shit. And he was like, go. And honestly, that's happened to, like, not to me, but I've been the passenger when that's happened, like, so many times. And every time, it's just funnier than the last, and it never gets old.
Oh, I just thought of another one, too, actually. So, I was driving with Logan one time. I think we were coming back from either Long McQuaid or a record store or something in Oshawa. We were coming back north on Simcoe. And those lights after Winchester just got put in right on the 407.
Yep.
When they were just putting in the 407. And so the lights at Winchester were green. And so I'm just like trucking along. I'm talking to Logan. And then this guy pulls out from the left-hand side, like at the lights on the 407, and pulls in front of me as I'm going through the lights. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, you cranberry fucknut? Logan looks at me, he's like, what are you doing, you cranberry? I look up and the fucking lights are red. I'm like, oh, that's why he's turning left in front of me. Whoops. I just ran a red light. Speaking of running red lights, there was that time where we went for a drive, like, literally a couple days ago.
We pull up to the red, and then all of a sudden you go, and I'm like, are we just not waiting for the light?
Okay, so it's like, I was on a side road, and I was going straight across the highway onto the other side of the side road. I pull up, and, like, for whatever reason, I just, like, I felt like it was like a two-way stop where you just, like, stop, make sure the way is clear, and then you continue on.
It used to be that way. Like, it's only been a stoplight for like a year and a half, 2 years maybe.
So it was red, no one was coming. I'm like, okay, we're good to go. So I just crossed. And then as I crossed, Jordan's like, oh, we're just not stopping. I'm like, no one was coming. But in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a fucking red light. Whoopsies.
Oh, God. You and your legalities are just great. Well, I think we gave the people what they wanted.
I think so.
So that concludes today's episode. I don't know why I sound like that. Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening to our dumb stories, my alcoholic driving nonsense.
Yeah, that's been
Jordan's patientness.
Accurate. That's episode 2 of the Steakin Claims podcast. Drive it like you stole it, but obey the speed limit, and we'll be coming back at you.
Why am I slowing down? It's not a stop sign.
I don't know. It's a flashing yellow at that.
One more for you.
We'll be coming back at you again soon with another episode. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening.
Well, that concludes today's episode.
Thanks, y'all, so much for tuning in, giving us a listen. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, etc., etc., etc. Comment, share, tell your friends.
And tune in next time when we post another podcast.
We can't give you a timeline on when that will be because we're both in school.
Bye.
Bye.